All right. Okay, so tonight's webinar is all about continuing education with the WebCenter program. We have a very detailed webinar schedule. The first and third Tuesday of every month is all about either taking action, where we're going to conduct a call workshop, or it's a webinar that's going to be dedicated to continuing education, where we take a concept and we just delve into it. So just understand this. If you're just now getting started, that's okay. Some of this information may be a little bit more advanced than what you're quite ready for, but you know what? You will still benefit from attending these webinars, even if some of the strategies that we talk about are just a little bit more advanced. And if you are experienced in the WebCenter program, then a lot of these different ideas that we talk about will really help you to continue to grow your WebCenter business, which is really exciting. We do record these webinars, and actually tonight's webinar is slightly adjusted from one that we did, 3 months ago. It's all about expanding your possibilities list. Like, I'm finding right now on our fast track that there are a ton of people that are, reaching out to their website prospects, and they're finding that, the possibilities are their possibilities list is just dwindling. So what I want to do tonight is I want to give people some strategies for expanding that. Right. So I want to give you some ideas for where you should be beginning. All the time, we all start from the same place. We're going to talk about generating leads. Where do leads come from? What is the best chance for success that you could give yourself? And what are ways to expand that? So we're going to talk about 4 different strategies for expanding your names list, and also the importance of what we call passive prospecting every single day, so that you're basically, it's interesting. We say that we're always working because we're entrepreneurs, but it's absolutely true, you guys. You just will not believe this, but not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before that, my husband and I were out celebrating a good friend's birthday. And we were celebrating her birthday at a restaurant bar, kind of a thing. And we were having a good time. And, I was there to enjoy. I was there to celebrate my girlfriend and, just to have a nice time and celebrate her birthday. And while I was trying to make the music work and I was selecting what songs I wanted to play, you pay a little bit of money and you choose your song. It's kind of like a modern version of a jukebox. A couple hours later, I realized, you know what? This is crazy. None of my songs are playing. I think this thing is broken. And the bouncer said to me, he says, listen, this is not broken, but look, the owner's right over there. So if you want to talk to him, you can go talk to him. I said, really, that's the owner? I do want to go talk to the owner, but not about music. So I actually walked over to him and I just said, hey, how are you? This place is awesome. And this is totally true, you guys. It's a restaurant in town that was struggling for so many years, where just, people didn't go to this restaurant for whatever reason. It was just so underattended. And about a year ago, this new owner that I just met had taken over the restaurant. And since then, it's just been a really fun place to hang out. And, we live in a very predominantly residential area. There's just not a lot of commerce in my immediate town. So it's really nice to have a nice restaurant, a fun place to go without having to leave town. So, I started the conversation off like that. And then I kind of jokingly said, hey, I think your music machine is broken. I keep putting money in and my songs are not getting played. And he laughed and he said, listen, if you do it on your iPhone or your Android, you can bump the people that pay at the machine. It's like an incentive for people to download our app. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So I download his app and I'm like, this is really cool. Is this, part of your like online strategy? It was like, no, actually, this is just part of the company we get the music from. So I'm like, oh, that's really, really cool. How forward is that? And I said, so tell me about yourself. Like, you took over this restaurant and it's really, really awesome. And it's just doing so much better than it has done in the past. Have you been in the restaurant industry a long time? And, he starts talking about it. He goes, actually, yeah, I grew up in the restaurant industry. I grew up waiting tables and all that other jazz. And I actually own several restaurants right now. I said, wow, how many restaurants do you own and where are they? I wonder if I've been there. And his response was, I actually own 2 other restaurants in addition to this one that you're at. One of them is in Amherst, and he told me the name of it, and I went to college in Amherst, so I've totally been to that restaurant. And the other one is in I think it was in Westfield or West Springfield, I can't remember. I hadn't been to that one, so I was like, "Whoa, that's really awesome!" So you must really be good at running restaurants, because to be able to manage 3 of them is probably really tricky time wise. And so anyway, we're just talking about his business, right? You can tell that I'm not walking up to him. I'm not being weird. I'm not trying to like sell him on a website solution. I'm just spending some time to get to know him passively during this celebration that I was out at. And then eventually, guess what happened? We had been talking about him for like 5 minutes. So eventually the polite thing to do is for him to turn around and ask me, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, actually, I own a local business as well. We help small to medium sized businesses to better market themselves online." He goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, we help them to have better website presences and just a better online marketing strategy in general." He goes, "Oh my goodness. Our website is horrible." And I said, "Is it really?" And I really didn't know at this point. I should have put them on my names list, but I hadn't yet. And I said, he goes, "Yeah, it's really, really horrible. I had a friend do it." And, he's like, bless his soul. He was so sweet to help me out. But he has a full time job, and he just does not have time to be updating our site. So we have this weird design, and it's all outdated content. And I said, "Well, if you'd like, I could totally give you a call on Monday after the weekend's over, and we could schedule a time to get together. Is that okay with you?" And he goes, "Yeah, that would be great." So I just want to just talk to you about why that works. Passive prospecting works exactly how this process I just described. I didn't try to sell him a site. I didn't try to tell him his website was horrible. I didn't try to schedule him into a full-on appointment yet. I just asked for permission to follow up. And there's something very magical about doing that. When you don't rush a relationship and you don't force them to feel like, wow, if they don't make a decision right now, then there's just all this pressure on them. There's just something really trustworthy about that. There's something very valuable, and there's something to be said for it, you guys. It's just amazing. So to make the long story shorter, I did call him back on Tuesday. Mondays are crazy for all business owners, so I waited until Tuesday. I scheduled an appointment. We did an appointment where I did the 15-minute consultation where I just asked a bunch of questions. And after we asked a bunch of questions, we scheduled a full-on demonstration. And he bought one website outright. He's going to see how that goes. And then he's like, if this goes well, I'm going to build 2 more websites for my other 2 restaurants. And then I'm going to need a 4th website because our actual business, our restaurant group, needs a separate website as well. And I'm like, wow, be happy to get to work with this. So you have to understand, from Saturday to the very next Saturday, I was able to move that relationship from "I don't even know you" to do I have permission to call you back and follow up to, hold on one second. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, can you tell me if you can hear me now? Hold on one second. That is really random. Okay. Yep, I hear that there's hissing in the background. Just hold on. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I actually have no idea. I'm telling you guys, GoToMeeting has been so finicky with their system right now that I really apologize for that. Let me just do something that might help. If you can just be patient. I'm just gonna force quit a bunch of random things that might actually help. I don't want to force quit PowerPoint because then we can't do our presentation tonight. All right, that should be good. And that should free up some more memory. We'll see if that helps. Okay, great. Yay. Awesome. All right, so anyway, let me just finish that story. So, long story short is you meet somebody, you get to know them, you just talk about them, you just show that you care, that you're interested in learning about them. You ask for permission to follow up. When you follow up, that's when you can schedule an appointment. Now, at that point, you can just use your judgment, whether you're going to set an appointment for a full-on website demonstration with a product specialist, or if you think it would be more appropriate to do like a 15-minute consultation. I have found that the 15-minute consultations are just incredibly effective, and that is exactly why I scheduled a 15-minute consult. So I did that. He loved it. He loved all of the possibilities. I just asked a bunch of questions about his business. That is available to download, by the way, at mawc411.com. And then from there, I schedule a full demo, sold a site, and have permission to probably sell 2 more to 3 more after that. That is the power of passive prospecting. Connie Schneider is like the absolute queen at this. This is how she sells so many websites. It's literally just by going around and meeting people. So I just wanted to share that story with you now because, we talk about all these strategies and things that we can do to be proactive to sell more sites and to generate more leads. But one of the best things that you could do and the funnest way to do this is to just constantly be meeting new people. And that is something that I really don't do enough of. And after this last week, how that went down, I can promise you that I'll be doing a lot more of that. So let's talk about this next generation lead generating. All right. So what is equally important to starting with a brand new names list? Like, you build a names list. That's the first step to getting started with web centers, right? If you don't have any leads, if you don't have any possibilities, then how the heck are you going to sell website appointments, right? Well, eventually they run out. So what's just as important as that? Adding to the names list. If you don't add possibilities to your names list on an ongoing basis, you will run out of possibilities. You will run out of leads, and that will kill your momentum, and you don't want to be doing that. So you want to be thinking about names in our business the way that you think about fuel in a car, right? When you buy a car, it's usually coming with a full tank of gas. You drive the car, eventually the car runs out of fuel. The car is not broken, right? The car just needs to be refueled. Our business functions the exact same way, right? You start with a names list, you work your names list, and guess what? At the end of it, the business is not broken. You're not done building. It's just time to refuel your names list. I've said this in the past, and I want to say it again because it's very powerful. In our industry, right, where we need to meet people, people are our inventory. If we owned a traditional retail shop, when we would have to stock our store, right? We'd have to stock our store with product. We'd sell through the product and we would replenish inventory. Well, in network marketing, right, like we're in right now, or in the web center business, when it comes down to relationship building and selling appointments, that's what people are. People are the inventory to our store. So we'll work that inventory, we'll work the people, and then we need to always be adding to it. If we don't add to our names list, we're not in business anymore. And you need to own that. You need to be totally aware of how important it really, really is to be adding to your names list. So are you out of gas? That's fine. Refuel, right? Once you're out of gas, it's not the end of the business. You don't stop using your car. Your car is not broken. You don't stare at your car and just wish it would drive again. You don't wait for it to magically drive itself again, right? You have to add fuel. Business works the same way. When you run out of names lists, you don't just stare at your web center and just go, I wish I was selling website appointments. I wish I was making more website sales. I wish I was meeting more business owners. You have to do some work, right? That I hope you guys understand that there is work involved. Generating leads, creating possibilities for sales, it takes work. It's not something that's just going to magically happen on its own. I wish we could just give you a leads list with your web center when you got one, but that's not how our system works. Our system is grounded on you working your warm market. And so the only person that can create your warm market possibilities list or to create a new warm market for yourself is you. So it's very, very important to do that. All right, the Web Center Getting Started Guide is where everybody begins, right? And with a website possibility list. But again, we need to keep working it and keep growing. So let's review really quickly. The Web Center Getting Started Guide is downloadable at mawc411.com, right? We start with racking our head around who do we already know. It's all about warm markets. Those are the key to success, to get started, to start conversations, and they are excellent sources of leads. So listen, I'm not against meeting business owners that you don't know and trying to warm them up and turn them into a warm market. I think that's a really smart and awesome way to generate new leads. But if you want to sell more websites, if you want to have a higher closing ratio or a higher appointment setting ratio to the amount of contacts that you're making, meaning if you'd like to be an efficient web center owner and if you want to be an effective web center owner, the best way to do that is to constantly be building your warm market. And there are different ways to do that. But again, it all starts with, your core names list. Here's what it looks like. It breaks down to who do you know? Who do you know in your area or in your life that owns a business? Do you know any daycare owners? Do you know anybody that owns a lawn company? One of our good friends owns they do greening. I don't know. It's like fertilizing of the grass. So it's like greener and prettier or whatever. I don't know. Our grass is pretty horrid. We actually probably could use his service anyway. He has that, and right now they're doing leaf pickup. Right. They're getting ready, winterizing people's yards. Everybody knows small business owners. We may not know it, and you might kind of go, oh wow, I totally forgot about so and so. And on the left-hand corner, you'll see a ton of industries that are really like some of the most popular industries that we see sales for. So we can sell websites to any industry, with the exception of things that are illegal, or X-rated. We can't sell websites to those industries. However, if you look on the left-hand side, you're going to see the types of industries that we see a lot of sales coming through for. So when you're going through this names list, use this to jog your memory. Restaurants, contractors, lawyers, gyms, salons, car detailers, dentists, doctors, landscapers, retail shops, organizations, meaning like not-for-profits, churches, and there are others as well. So anybody that you know that owns that kind of a business, or anybody that you know that is an employee for one of those businesses, meaning, do you know any waitresses at a restaurant? Do you know any secretaries that work for a contractor? Do you know any paralegals that work for a lawyer? Do you know any fitness instructors? Do you know any yoga instructors? Any Zumba instructors? Do you know any dance teachers? Do you know anybody that does Pilates? Do you know anybody that does yoga? Does that make sense? Everybody knows these kinds of people. And those are the kinds of contacts you should be putting in this second column. Those are the kinds of contacts that you're going to work through them to add them their business that they work for to your warm market. Right? You may not know the owner, but if you know the yoga instructor at the gym, they may be able to connect you with the owner. Does that make sense? Because they have a warm in at that company. So you definitely want to make sure that you're really racking your brain around here. I feel like this is probably the column where everybody goes, oh, I don't want to take the time. Yeah, there definitely is an extra step when you're working this column of the names list, because you do have to work through somebody that works for a business to be connected with a business owner, to then get to know the business owner, to then maybe schedule a 15-minute consult, to then schedule an appointment. But you know what, you guys, again, it's about work. So do you want to make the sale? Do you want to sell the appointment? Then do the work, and don't rush the relationship, and do the right things. This is more effective and more efficient than cold calling, I promise you. So that's the second column. The third column is, who do you know that you do business with? Where do you go out to eat? Who's resided your house? Did you ever need a lawyer to, draw up a living will or something like that? Just had somebody over at our house today for new life insurance stuff that we just got. And, he just said, hey, do you guys have X, Y, and Z? And I said, you know what? Actually, we need to redo that. And he goes, listen, I know someone that's excellent. They're really, really reliable, friendly attorney, and they, I hear nothing but great things about them. I work with him all the time. Here's his name. So guess what? I'm gonna now call up that lawyer, and it's all because my friend that works for an insurance company hooked me up with them. People are well connected. That's what I'm talking about. Insurance agents, church leaders, fitness instructors, bartenders, waitresses, people that know a lot of people, real estate agents, so that you can work through those people to meet other people. We're going to get to know this. We're going to get into that in more detail in just a little bit. Also, the last column is, who do you want to get to know? So if there are businesses in your town, or businesses in a town you used to live in, or whatever, that you don't know the owner, you don't quite have a warm in yet, but you do want to work them, that's cool. Put them there, get to know them, start to work them up, and build them into your warm market list. So we're going to talk about 4 methods for expanding your names list. Number 1, with social media. Number 2, by spreading out some spending. 3 is how do you effectively use a networking group so that you could meet more prospects. And 4 is how do you work through and to get referrals. So we're going to go through with that. Number 1, social media. I love this. Prospects are everywhere. Social media is like a giant coffee shop that people just sit in all day, right? So think about it, you guys. How many times did you check your Facebook today? Right? What were you doing? You were just scrolling through your timeline, and just usually people do it to kill time, or just to see what their friends or family or whatever, what people are up to. What if you were just doing that in a more effective way? What if you were looking for opportunities so that you could search for an opportunity and respond accordingly. Would that not be a better use of your time? And it would still serve a purpose of filling up time where you have to, you know, you're bored or whatever. Could you be more effective about how you're using social media? On the same note, what if your profile was positioned in a way that would attract more possibilities? Right? What if you knew how to properly search for opportunities on Facebook or on Twitter? Would this be a better way for you to engage possibilities or to expand your names list? Absolutely, you guys, absolutely. Social media is just like an ocean of leads. You just have to know how to use it the right way. So let's start with your personal presence, okay? We're gonna predominantly be talking about Facebook tonight, just because that's what I believe. I mean, that's what a lot of people have. Um, but you want to think about your Facebook as an opportunity to personally brand yourself, right? It's there for online socializing, but it's also there to personally brand yourself, right? You know, it's an opportunity for you to meet prospects, and also if you do have prospects, like let's say Saturday night when I met that owner of the restaurant bar, he probably went home and took my card and found me on Facebook. If he found my Facebook account, I guarantee he found stuff that was positive. He found stuff that was, happy, that was professional, things like that. So, is your Facebook page, is your social media presence the kind of presence that you would like a website prospect to find online? Yes or no? You need to ask yourself that question. So, when you're creating an online profile for yourself, you want to make sure that it's clean, that you're choosy about the things that you post, that it's a complete profile, that you're choosing a great picture, that it talks about who you are, that it's yourself. It's the very, very best version of yourself. It really has to be those things. And I'm not saying that you should be fake, right? I'm not saying that you should totally like put this crazy stuff on there that isn't even true. I'm just saying that, unlike teenagers, adults should not treat social media as a place to complain or to rant, right? It's a place for you to socialize. It's a place for you to interact with people. So if you wouldn't act like that in public, then I wouldn't act like that on social media. I would really keep that as like a back of your head kind of a rule of thumb in the back of your head. I think sometimes people, they use it as an opportunity to complain or to rant, or they get really brave behind their keyboard. You know what I mean? Like they can type all this stuff, but if they would never act that way in public. Well, guess what? Social media is public space, right? And so, like I said, if you ran into a website prospect and you're passively prospecting throughout your day, and they go to connect with you on Facebook, which I promise you a lot of them will do, is your profile representing you in a positive light, in a professional light, and in a light that you would want to be represented in? Ask yourself those questions, and if not, then I would clean it up. Couple of rules about using social media properly. Number one is to be yourself. Like I said, be the best version of yourself. You don't want to be fake, but you definitely don't want to use it as a place to complain. Don't spam and don't mass message. Meaning, when we talk about how to use social media to find website leads, we're not talking about you going, I'm going to private message everybody all at once and save time. Yeah, you might think that that's efficient, but it's not effective. If something is efficient, it also needs to be effective. Mass messaging people like that is not effective. So you don't want to do that. It's considered extremely, extremely obnoxious and annoying to be mass messaged on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, but anytime anybody in a mass message responds, it sends an alert to your smartphone, and that gets really annoying. If there are 300 people that were mass messaged, it gets really frustrating really fast when that kind of stuff happens. So you might think that this is an easy way to do it or a smart way to do it, but I'm promising you, no. If you want results, you need to treat this one to one. Social media is not a replacement for one-to-one marketing. Social media is an enhancement for one-to-one marketing. You want to use it as an opportunity to really qualify your leads, in a personal manner, so that you can progress the relationship, just like the example I gave earlier tonight. Another rule: keep it short and keep it visual or media rich. Meaning, if you have something that has a link, a picture, or a video, or something of that's exciting to look at, people are more likely to look at your content. So if you're going to share a design from MA Web Center's Facebook page, that is more likely to get a response than you just saying, we work with small to medium-sized businesses to help them create better websites, right? That's just a statement. But if that statement was accompanied by a beautiful design by our design center, it's more likely to generate interest in your from your friends, right? So keep it, keep it media rich. Short is also important. Facebook, not an opportunity to write epics. It's not a blog. It is not, a chance for you to just, write paragraphs and paragraphs of things. I like to say, Twitter's pretty smart. They limit your characters, and so people have to be, really efficient with their words and just kind of get the point across. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm scrolling through my timeline and I see people have written like these crazy long things, I never read them. Nobody wants to do that. Share stories, word of mouth, meaning, again, you're not going to just be soliciting on your Facebook page. In fact, you should not be soliciting on your Facebook page. You can if you have a page for your business, but with regard to that, I just want to take a second to address this. We're talking right now about personal profiles, okay? There is an option for you to create a page for your business. And you can share posts on your business page that are, more geared towards sales, and that's fine. And you can share your business page stuff onto your personal profile. All of that is well and good. But what I want to tell you is that flat out, I have a business page that is fine, but the majority, like 99% of interest that I generate for my business and for my web center comes from stuff that I'm posting on my personal profile. It is what it is. So, and it's because I'm doing this 80-20 rule. 80% of what I post on my page is personal lifestyle stuff, just happy things about things that I'm doing. 20% of what I post on my personal page is business related stuff. And that's really, really cool, because then people go, oh, she's cool, she's normal, she's not like all of a sudden turned into this weird person that only thinks about Market America, or that only thinks about the Web Center program, or that's only trying to sell to me. So when only 20% of my posts are business related, then guess what? I'm not just shutting down my audience. My audience goes, oh, so that's what you do for a living, or oh, that's pretty cool, that sounds interesting, tell me more, right? Also, share content that generates interest and calls to action, right? So when you share a picture from or a design center sample or something, that's going to generate interest. That's one part of your goal. The second part is for it to call to action. So you might say something like, check out this, like right today, it's my client. So it was Shermahorn Seafood is my client. And I put that on MA Web Center's Facebook wall, and people shared it, and that's great. And so if you share that design, you would say something like, hey, check out this beautiful design by our design center. Do you know any restaurants that could benefit from a better website? Right? So you ask a question. You give people an opportunity to respond and say, oh my God, my favorite restaurant is such and such, and their website is horrible. You should totally call them. Right? Generates interest and calls to action. And then you also want to be searching and responding. You want to be aware of opportunities as they present themselves. So let's talk about how that looks. Number one, search. The one thing that you could do this week to open up more conversations than I think anything else is to just become a fan of every place that you do business with that has a Facebook page, right? Find them on Facebook, become a fan of their business. You might want to be private messaging prospects, and you can also comment on other people's posts. So, for example, if you see a friend is starting a new business, comment. Just say something like, that is so exciting. When do you start? Or, just normal conversational stuff. Get them talking about their business, and then just say, hey, have you thought about a website? Right? And they'll say yes or no. And then you keep the conversation going, depending on how they respond. Search for opportunities and comment and be normal, right? Don't turn into a weird person that's been, had their body taken over by aliens, which is, the Market America, juju. You want to be yourself, especially on social media, especially when you're talking about, interpersonal or business relationships, because people will buy you before they buy anything else. And if they don't feel comfortable around you, or if they feel like they're being solicited, or if they feel like you're just trying to sell them and you could care less about them, they won't schedule an appointment. They won't pick up the phone when you're trying to follow up with them. These are things that you need to work on. so that when you are searching and you are engaging in conversations, that you're doing so in a productive way. Listen for friends and family and colleagues who may have a need. It's all about identifying need, you guys. So if you hear of anybody that's complaining about a poor online shopping experience or starting a new business or starting a new job or anything like that, these are opportunities for you to start having conversations about possible websites. So today I had a friend who was complaining online because a lot of us have to get new dance shoes right now because I'm still teaching dance, by the way, 12 hours a week. It's all good. It's lots of fun. Um, and a lot of people are getting new shoes. So I had a friend that called a local dance shop and said, "Hey, do you stock this particular 3-inch heel character shoe? And I want it to be split soles, and I want it to be the suede bottom, not the leather bottom." And the response that this person got was, "No, but we can order it for you." And then so my friend was like so frustrated. They're like, "So what? So can I. I can go online and order shoes too. I just wanted to know if I could buy this from you." And the hard part is that, she was like, "I totally would have ordered it online from the local store if I could have picked it up in the store, or I would have, saved myself a whole lot of time if they had a better website and I knew what kinds of stuff they were stocking." So, she basically was complaining about the company, just saying, "That's so dumb. Why would I pay this local store extra money to order me shoes from another store when I can order directly from the store they're going to get it from? I'd rather have just ordered it online from the store directly, picked it up in the store, not had to deal with waiting for shipping, or just saved myself some time and just checked out what they actually do have in inventory." But their website was so poor that I couldn't do anything. It was literally just like an online ad. So, I just kept the conversation going, as asking a couple more questions, getting to know. That's actually how I found out all about all of the website stuff. And you know what I did? I called up that dance shop and I just said, "Hey, I just had a friend, and listen, I just wanted to introduce myself. Are you guys looking to improve your website so that you don't have this kind of thing happening?" And she said, "Yeah, we totally are. We're just really, really overwhelmed." And so I just kept the conversation going from there. Long story short, 15-minute consultation is booked, right? Again, I wouldn't have even known to call that particular store if I wasn't on Facebook listening for an opportunity, right? You can find opportunities so easily. Complaints about poor shopping experiences online with small businesses happens all the time. Starting new businesses happens all the time. People starting a brand new job happens all the time. So when you find these things, that the next step is simple: interact, ask an open-ended question, do some data mining, get to know if the need is even warranted, right? And then you're going to share and recommend. So if you're talking directly with the person that you want to schedule an appointment with, there's a couple of things you could do. Number one is you could just share a design, right? "Oh, well, if you really are interested, let me show you a couple of things." There's designs that are posted on mawc411.com. There's testimonials that are shared. There's all kinds of content that you could share to generate interest so that they would want to schedule an appointment with you. Another thing that you could do is you could share information, right? A flyer or an e-flyer or something like that. You could schedule a 15-minute consultation, or you can schedule a full-on appointment with a product specialist. Again, you have to treat people like people. That is like my number one rule in life. When I'm talking to you, I'm all about you, right? And that's very, very key to our success, is that we really do treat people like people, and everybody's a little bit different. So when I get to this share recommend stage, it really does depend on how the first 3 stages went. All right, so that's social media. Number two, spreading out your spending. All right, so again, you want to be a loyal patron. I'm like probably the loyalest person you'll ever meet about anything, especially when it comes to restaurants. Oh my gosh, I love going to the same places, but there's just no harm in trying out somewhere new. So, one of the things that you can make it a point and this is kind of a long-term thing, is you could get to know more business owners in your area by just trying new products and trying new services. Um, so, things like nails. I mean, my friend, one of my best friends, Emily Breyer, she's supervising coordinator, not in my group, but just a really, really close friend. She's so funny. She gets her nails done and her hair done at different salons all the time. And you know why she does that? Is because she focuses on motives and she wants to meet as many salon owners as possible. So, yeah, would it be safer, especially given that she goes platinum blonde? it would be safer for her to just probably stick with the same hairdresser all the time. And sometimes she has to go back to the ones that she likes and get them fixed. But, what's smarter for her right now? She's trying to build a director. She's going to go out and meet as many salon owners as possible, right? So instead of just taking Zumba at the same place every single week, why not take it every Monday at one place and take it somewhere new every Wednesday, right? Or why not try a different restaurant? Why not try a different dry cleaners? Why not, you know what I mean? Just try some new places. That's where this fifth column comes into play, you guys. So we talked about this names list earlier, and that last column, who do you want to get to know? That's where you're going to go, okay, there's a bunch of restaurants that I'd like to try. Put them down there. And then instead of going out to your usual or just going out and getting fast food or something crazy, pick one of those restaurants on your names list and go out and try it. You never know, especially on weekends. The owners of restaurants are almost always there. They practically live at their restaurants, and they usually walk around and introduce themselves and ask you how things are going, right? What an opportunity to have a quick conversation with a business owner. Restaurants are, I mean, they're just so wonderful for this kind of a thing. Contractors, lawyers, gyms, salons, again, all of these name joggers on the left, you want to put them here in this side of the column, get to know them, get out there, or hey, just pick up the phone, introduce yourself, right? If it's a brand new restaurant in town, they don't have to know you've never eaten there. You can call them up and just say, "Hey, listen, I was trying to share your menu with a friend, couldn't find you online. Do you guys have a website?" Right? Start a relationship. Relationships all start somewhere. Although, there's no such thing as a warm market that wasn't cold at first, right? So if you want to pick up the phone and start warming up prospects, go ahead and do that. Pick up the phone and just introduce yourself. And what I recommend is to always say something like, "Hey, I wanted to share your service or share your restaurant or share your business with a friend, but I couldn't find you online. Do you guys have a website?" That's a great conversation starter. You know why? Because they want you to share their service. They want you to share their menu. And if they don't have a website, that first of all, they're going to go, "Wow, I really do need to think about that." And number two, they're going to go, "Wow, how am I going to share this information with their prospect?" It's that fear of loss. So you definitely want to consider that. Number three, networking groups. Networking groups are a great opportunity for you to meet new business owners. So understand this, when you're going to a networking organization, you're going there with an intention to meet business owners and to talk to them and to get to know them and see how you can help them and how, etc. So some of the most popular ones are the Chamber of Commerce, BNI, which is Business Networking International. Sometimes church groups will hold events. Communities and towns will also sponsor events or mixers where business owners all get together. There's also online groups that you can engage in if you don't have the time to go out and actually physically be at these other events. But these are opportunities for you to go out and meet new business owners. Understand this. If you're working with the simple sales system, right? Let's say your answer to how you're positioning yourself with your website prospects is, "I don't specialize in this, but I work with a great company and they have an entire division that does specialize. I'd love to hook you up and get you an appointment." That is a very effective way to sell appointments. However, just understand that when you go to these events, you need to be going there probably representing yourself in your actual career or your job or whatever you do major or focus in. And in the back of your head, you're going to have your website stuff. So you don't want to walk into there because, as a web center owner, but that you don't specialize. Again, be normal, be real, be believable, and you'll be very successful. So you can't walk into a chamber and say, "I am a web center owner. I specialize in helping small businesses, but I don't know anything about it, but I'd love to get you an appointment." Does that make sense? So just be very, very cautious about your approach here, and that it's that it makes sense. All right, so some keys to networking groups. Number one, it goes both ways. Be open to learning about other people. In fact, that should be like your number one goal at these things. You don't want it to be one-sided. You never know where things could lead. And if you're just talking about yourself and talking about what you think they need, you're going to miss a lot of opportunities and you're going to shut your people out because they're not going to want to talk to you anymore. Remember, the more you can learn about them and the more you can get them talking about themselves, the more likely they will turn around and say, "Tell me a little bit about what you do." exchange information. Don't give out business cards. Don't show up at these and hand out flyers. And again, just because something is efficient doesn't mean that it's effective, right? Efficient and effective is what we're going for here. So what you want to do is you want to put yourself in a position where you have control over the follow-up. You don't have control over follow-up when all you do is hand out flyers or when all you do is hand out business cards. It's way more effective and excuse me, I'm losing my words here. It's more effective for you to take a business card than it is for you to give a business card. Ask questions, use the time to identify need, identify a quality prospect, figure out what people, where the pain is, right? Where is their website lacking? Where might you be able to help them? How can you use that information to sell an appointment? It's so much easier to solve a problem than it is to sell an appointment for something you don't know if they need or not. Describe your client. So when people ask you what you do, you could just say something like, "Hey, I work with I work with all small to medium-sized businesses to help them have a better online presence. We help them have better websites and a better online marketing strategy in general." Um, Listen, if they're not an actual website prospect, sometimes it helps to really focus their thinking as well and to say something like, we work with all small to medium-sized businesses, but right now, we're actually working predominantly with restaurants this month or with retail shops this month or whatever it is. It just helps them to think of actual prospects or leads that they could pass along to you. Follow up. This is really important. Once you actually get some interest generated, once people are like, "Yeah, let's get together and meet," the ball is in your court. It is your responsibility to do the follow up, and the follow up was where the magic happens. So here's something you need to understand. When you go to these events and you start having conversations, you're going to go home and you're going to feel awesome. You're going to be like, "Wow, I did something really great for my business today. I met a ton of business owners. I made friends. I think people are really interested in what I can do for them." You're going to feel so great about that. And then something horrible is going to happen. You're going to stop doing things. You're going to rest on that success. You're going to go, "Well, I did a lot, so, I'm just going to kind of like hang out now and just like take it easy." But the fact is unless you follow up, it does not matter how awesome you were at that networking event. I promise you, no one's going to call you up and just give you their credit card and say, "All right, hook me up." So again, if you don't follow up, your awesomeness goes away. And I'm telling you, it happens to everybody. It doesn't matter how experienced you are or how brand new you are. It happens to everybody. So just be aware that it's a natural thing, a way to feel, and that we need to be proactive to take steps so that we don't put ourselves in a position where we're leaving money on the table. All right, that happened to me last Saturday as well, you guys. I told you on Monday I didn't really call, but I did call on Tuesday, and it's so funny because I say that I didn't want to call on Monday because they were busy, but really that was just my excuse because I was like, "Yeah, well, that was an awesome weekend, and I'm just gonna relax." I think it was just an excuse that I made in my head. All right, so the fourth one is referrals. Referrals is an awesome way to build your web center business because so many of your friends, family, colleagues, clients, and neighbors go out to eat. They have their hair done. They have doctors and dentists and lawyers and work done on their home and plumbers and gyms and kids in dance and sports, and they shop online, right? They know a lot of prospects for you. For example, like my friend on Facebook complaining about the store that had a horrible website that she couldn't order from, or she couldn't even see what brands and specific styles they had, right? So they all know people. So how do you get them to give you referrals? We're going to talk about that. What about well-connected people? Real estate agents, insurance agents, waitresses, bartenders, fitness instructors, hairstylists, coaches, community leaders, or organizational leaders, church leaders. What about on franchise owners who specialize in other areas, right? The key to getting referrals for website leads and to generating leads this way is to do it in a multi-step process. There's a protocol to follow. You don't want people to just like throw random leads your way. You want them to be leads that have a probability of actually ending in something. So let's talk about the best way to do this. It boils down to relationship networking. You need to build a relationship, and you can do this by going out for coffee or lunch or dinner, or you could even do it on the phone. But the key is that you actually take that first step, right? So step one is to build a relationship with them, to network. You spend some time chatting with them the next time you see, and you ask them if they're even open for the opportunity of sharing business. So let's say it's an insurance agent that you know, or a real estate agent that you know, and his name is Frank, and Frank knows a lot of people that you would really like to get in front of to talk about websites with, right? So here's what you would say. Frank, listen, I know you know a lot of people that would be great for me to meet. And listen, I know a number of folks that I think would be that would really be interested in what you do as well. Would you be open for exploring how we might be able to help each other out? Right? Simple stuff. It's just you basically asking for an appointment with somebody that's well connected. It's that simple. Step two is to actually have that appointment. And again, you can do this in person, or you could do this on the phone. You could totally do this on the phone. It's not, it depends on how far away they live. So, you're not limited geographically. What's really interesting about these meetings is they are very, very similar to how you should be acting at a networking group. Number one is to remember, again, that it goes both ways, right? Again, similar to successful networking group, and you want to make sure that you're learning about their business as well. Meaning, this isn't just an opportunity for you to tell somebody about how awesome you are and how awesome our WebCenter program is so that they will give you leads for website sales. This is an opportunity for you to learn about their business. What kinds of clients are they looking to work with? And how might you be able to refer them business as well? If you're not going in with that mindset, they will not give you leads. So you need to remember it goes both ways. Number two, never be too techie, right? Have a quick way to describe the solution. We provide a better and more affordable way for small businesses to market their business online, right? I didn't sit there and say we've got social media and SEO and a CRM and email marketing and blah, 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 right? Just talk in English, right? Be a person. Talk in a language that people understand. Now, if you're talking to a technical person and you're capable of having a technical conversation, that's another thing. People are people. But in general, most of these people just want to know what you do and how they can help. The third thing, is to describe your ideal client that you want right now. This helps to focus their thinking. It's a psychological thing, right? If you say, I work with small to medium sized businesses, that's fine, but it doesn't trigger any particular thought process. So rather than saying that, why not try, hey, we work with all kinds of small to medium sized businesses, but right now we're looking to set up appointments with roofers and landscapers. Do you know of anybody who could benefit from a better website strategy? And then immediately your person that Frank is going to know, um, number one, that you're interested in him and that you're interested in referring business to him. Number two, that you help small businesses have a more affordable and more effective way to market themselves online. And number three, that while you can work with all small to medium sized businesses, let me think about some landscapers and roofers that I might be able to refer your way right away. It's so smart, you guys. You have no idea. Um, so finally, you've asked for a meeting with Frank. He's well connected. You conducted the meeting with Frank. You got to know how you could help him out. He got to know what kinds of referrals he could give you, and maybe you gave each other referrals right on the spot. When you do get a referral from Frank, you then have to contact the referral, and this is how you do that. Number one, hi Lisa. I'm not sure Frank might have mentioned that I'd be getting in touch with you, but Frank and I were talking the other day, and he mentioned that I might be able to help you out with your business, right? Simple. So right away, you're going to name drop so that Lisa knows that you're not just calling and soliciting or cold calling her, right? So you're going to say, hey, Lisa, I'm not sure if Frank might have mentioned or not, but, right? Lisa will then follow up with you and say, okay, great. Well, what do you do? And now you're going to say what you do. So here's what you do. Simple. I help businesses leverage the internet effectively to increase revenues. Or, this is what I say. I literally just say, I own a local business. We work with small to medium sized businesses to help them to have a more effective and more affordable online marketing strategy. Simple. The answers are endless. It just has to feel natural for you. It can't be longer than a sentence. It's got to be a quick and short and sweet way to describe what you do, kind of like when you were meeting with Frank. So following on with Lisa, here's what the example says. Listen, Lisa, what my company does is we help businesses to effectively leverage the internet to increase their revenues. Frank mentioned that you might be looking to accomplish something along those lines. What are some of these specific ideas that you had in mind? right? Now, this is because Frank probably said, look, Lisa's been trying to expand her website or expand her online strategy for the whole year, right? Again, the key is to end an open-ended question. Just so you know, whatever details Frank gave you during your meeting, you want to use those details with Lisa so that she knows, again, that you're not just soliciting or cold calling her, but rather that, listen, you've talked to Frank. Frank really mentioned some stuff and that you mean business. You're serious, right? Once you have enough information, you can go ahead and set a qualified appointment. You're not going to call Lisa up with the intention of conducting a 15-minute consult or conducting a website appointment on the spot. All you're doing is you're taking that third step, which is to introduce yourself, get to know her just a little bit, and then go ahead and share and sell the appointment. Remember, selling appointments, you can do that in 5 minutes. You cannot sell a website in 5 minutes. Good Lord, those things. I know the hissing is back, so just give me a second. All right. There it goes. Very good. So sorry about that, guys. I'm going to have to call GoToMeeting tomorrow. All right. One last thing, referral campaigns. Sometimes it helps if you incentivize your friends, your family, your neighbors, your colleagues, or even your clients for referrals, meaning in addition to just meeting with Frank and getting to know, some leads that you might be able to get from him and vice versa, sometimes it can help to give him an incentive. So for example, you can run whatever referral program that you'd like. Every referral that ends in a sale, you give out a $100 shop.com card, or you give out $100 to your favorite partner store, or whatever it is that you would like to do. It's completely up to you. It's just a fun way to incentivize people to give you more leads so that as they're out and about and they're meeting business owners that need a better website, they have you in the back of the mind or the front of your mind, so that they can share that lead with you. And hey, if that ends in a sale, you're making $1,000. So what? You make $900 off of a lead that you would not have known if it wasn't given to you as a referral from a friend, family, colleague, or whatever, right? Referral campaigns are a fun way to get more leads. Just keep in mind, you guys, relationships matter. Experience seems to show that building a relationship with a person does create a stronger bond. And that's true for whether it's on franchise business or website sales or any business in general. So talk to people, build up that relationship, treat every challenge as a learning experience. Be normal, be yourself, care about prospects. You don't have to talk how I talk. I don't have to talk how you talk. I want to make sure that I'm being professional, that I'm being friendly, that I'm being caring. I want to have certain qualities about myself, but I'm always going to be myself, just like you should always be yourself. Remember, people are going to buy you before they buy anything. And if they don't feel comfortable around you, they're not going to schedule an appointment for anything, right? So just understand the best thing that you can do when you're out there meeting people and expanding your names list is to just be yourself, care about your prospect, and this is pivotal, do not rush the process. Do not be weird and right away just start selling, selling, selling. If it's appropriate, if it feels like it's a normal, that it would actually work out and you should be selling in the appointment right away, that's one thing. But 9 times out of 10, guys, just take the time to do it right, and that's when sales pop through. So your new names list. Your new names list will break down to 3 categories. And this is just something to keep in mind as you're working your brand new names list. Number 1, the strongest relationships, put them at the top, and you're going to start reaching out to those people right away. People that you need to reacquaint with, you're going to go ahead and put them in another column, and you're going to start to get to know them. You're going to start to warm them back up. Anybody that you're a patron of, they work in, you do business with them, put them in another list, just because typically the kind of relationship you have with the owner of your favorite restaurant is going to be very different than someone that that owns a business. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and do a little bit of prospect research, right? And all that you're going to do for prospect research is to simply, find out a couple of things about their current website situation. Do they have a site? Is it any good? Do you see any social media links on there? Just things that are going to give you good questions to ask. Again, when you're doing prospect research, the point is to find out about them so you could form good questions. It's not so that you can, use the information you find to create an awesome speech. What you want to do is form good questions that are going to lead to the kind of conversation that you want to have. And then go out and actually engage your prospects. So I just want to review this. This is not the complete focus of tonight, but just remember, You wanna be normal, have normal conversations, ask how things have been, ask how business has been going, ask about their advertising, and then finally ask if they have a website and ask any questions that are relevant that you've come up with after doing your prospect research. It's so simple. Meanwhile, while you're working this new names list that you've created, just remember that you also could be passively prospecting, meaning as you're going about your day, keep your ears open. Identify where there might be a need. Try when you're out there meeting new business owners or you're at Starbucks and you meet people, just ask people what they do. Get to know people. Be friendly, right? So let's recap. You start with the same names list that everybody starts with, that Web Center Getting Started Guide names list. You're going to use social media to meet new prospects. You're going to spread out your spending to meet new prospects. You're going to get to networking groups to meet new prospects. You're going to ask referrals from your friends, family, clients, colleagues, etc. to meet new prospects. You're going to constantly be rekindling older relationships, and you're going to constantly be rinsing and repeating 1 through 6. You guys, remember what I said in the very first couple of minutes. This business is not broken when your names list runs out. You are in an industry where that is our inventory. We must put focus on that so that we can have, constantly have people or inventory to be working with. So I hope that this session has been helpful for you. Really excited about, all the possibilities that you guys are going to come up with. Thank you guys so much and have a great night.